Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. My name is Ayman Khan, and we are here today to talk to the man who is fresh off of signing a deal with Boxer and will feature on TV soon, I'm sure. Starting his 2022 in style is Jeamie Tkv. Jeamie, pleasure to meet you. How's life treating you?
Life is good, man. It's great to start the year on the right foot, man. I'm just excited, man. I feel blessed that I'm getting this opportunity early on in my career. So, yeah, I'm just very happy. I'm over the moon.
We'll get to the Boxer signing in a moment, but because this is your kind of introduction to the channel and to the people, I just want to talk a bit more about you and yourself. So just tell us, starting or let you start, like tell us just a bit about yourself.
Well, before beginning boxing, let's just start there. Beginning boxing, I used to be a freestyle wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a Olympic wrestling family. Like all my siblings, my dad was a wrestler. My dad even did pro wrestling. I did very well in freestyle wrestling as a kid. I won junior world championships, I won national championships, European championships. But with wrestling, there's nothing at the end of wrestling. So after Olympics, there's nothing else. So when I saw boxing, well, I've always liked boxing, but when I actually tried boxing, I really enjoyed it, and I thought, you know what, I can really do something with this, and here we are today. But yeah, born and raised in Tottenham, come from a big sporting family. One of 7 siblings. You know, that's what we.
So you're picking up on quite a few things there. So I'd kind of read before this interview about your father as well and him being national wrestling champion in Congo. You mentioned that he did pro wrestling. So do you mean like as in
the WWE stuff?
Yeah,
the theatrical. Yeah. He did that. He did that in the U. You know what? He did it from Congo. He did it in Congo, and then when he came over here, he did it in the UK. He did it in a company called the UWA. It used to be shown on live TV. I'm not sure if that channel is still about, but he was shown on live TV. He was quite popular in the late 90s with his style of wrestling. It was quite comedic, and people really liked the way he used to fight. So, yeah, he was quite popular with it.
But you did the amateur side of it. You said that you kind of realized that there wasn't a lot in wrestling, and that's why you kind of made the move over to boxing. When did you make that realization?
It's not necessarily a realization, but once I started boxing, it's like I said, you know what, I can take this and make it a career rather than. So just after I started, basically, I thought, nah, let me just continue with boxing and do it full time. But this was at the age of 18. You know, it's not like I realized beforehand. I just gave it a go, and then when I started enjoying it, and then that's when I realized, you know what, this could be it. This could be what I want to do in the future.
So what was it that got you to like the boxing gym then in the first place? What took you there?
You know what, it's a funny, well, not necessarily a funny story. So there was a youth club where my dad coaches at. So they was doing a little summer program where there was going to be wrestling, boxing, football, and other sports. And my dad was coaching there, and we were there for like a month or so. And because they did boxing, I said, you know what, I might as well go to a session, see how it goes. And after my first session, I met a great coach called Chris Hall from White Hart Lane. And he said, you can do a lot in this boxing. You have a lot of potential. So from then on, he kind of got me hooked on. And the fact that he got me hooked on, I just kept going, kept working hard. And we're here today.
So I know that you've had quite a number of, you've won quite a number of amateur awards. Talk us through what you've done in the amateurs.
Well, I've had 72 fights. I won 2 national champions, 5 London titles. I've won 2 national championships, 5 London titles, Southern area title, English title, African championships, silver in the African championships too. I've won a lot. Haringey Box Cup, East Midlands Box Cup, Odivelas Box Cup. Yeah, so I've done a lot. At one point, I was ranked number 9 in the world in the AIBA world ranking, competed in the world championships, Olympic qualifiers and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done quite a few things in the amateurs. Yeah.
So, Jeamie, why is the time right now for you to turn from amateur to pro?
Well, I did want to turn pro many years ago, but
Mm.
I feel like the opportunity came now. Like the right opportunity was now, and to be honest, I feel like there's an open market right now for boxers to get in and make an impact in boxing and have opportunities in boxing. So I definitely think this is the right time. But not only saying that the pandemic did waste a little bit of my time. Like I was waiting for the Olympics to go on because I was waiting to be because there wasn't no competition happening for Africa. So we had to get picked. So it was between me and some Egyptian boxer, and was waiting for them to announce. They chose him. So that wasted a bit of my time as well. So it just happened to be that this is the time that I'm turning pro.
So you've signed with Boxer now. The announcement came yesterday alongside Chris Congo signing also with Boxer. Just tell me, Jeamie, in your own words, how did this deal come about?
Well, my management put in a lot of good work. They had the right contacts, the right people around them, and they were persistent and got things done at the right time. So yeah, I'm very happy with my management, and they've been putting in a lot of work. Forever grateful for what they've done for me.
With Boxer, they're a newish kind of brand looking to establish themselves in this year. They've made quite a number of signings last year, looking to launch their first pay-per-view with Khan Brook as well. So really kind of making those moves. It must be good for you to kind of see them putting the faith in someone like yourself who's looking to start off and really kind of having that faith in you as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. The exposure was crazy, man. I see when I went on Sky Sports later on in the day, I saw my name next to that Premier League, and I was thinking, bro, I've really seen my name come up. Jeamie Tkv has signed with Sky and Boxer, blah blah blah. But it feels so surreal, like, and the fact that they have so much faith in me already, and it's going to be my debut, is just exciting. I just want to prove them that they made the right choice by signing me.
With that, you've I believe you linked up with Ben Davison and have been training with Ben.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. And Barry Smith as a collective.
Okay, so how did that link come about then with Ben? And how long have you been with Ben?
Since September, and it came about when my coach thought I should give Ben a try. Like, as in, he's a very good coach. He has the experience to take me where, as a team, we have a plan. So we have plans of where we want to go. So they feel like he can take me where I need to go. So we thought we'll contact them, and they said, yeah, we can have a 2-week trial, or 2-week or 4-week trial. And then after the 4-week trial, they were happy with me, and now we're working together full time.
What would you say was the kind of biggest thing that you've taken from your time with Ben Davison? What have you learned from, because you'll have been transitioning from the amateur game, now looking to make your pro debut, which is a different kind of ball game in itself. So has there been kind of facets of kind of shaving things off of your game, adding kind of new stuff? What's that kind of been like, and what's kind of the biggest thing you've learned?
So in the amateurs, I used to always be that big guy who can move fast and throw a lot of punches. That was my thing. But when I got to Ben Davis, he says, you can't do this for 8, 10, 12 rounds. He said, you'll blow yourself out. You won't be able to do this. So what he's done is he showed me how to preserve my energy and control the rounds, and how to throw efficient punches where it would be necessary, all the feints. Like, it just, he's molded me into a 12-round fighter, basically. And I felt the difference already. Well, I felt the difference from the first week. I'm learning a lot. He's a real student of the game, and he teaches us every day, and we learn every day. And I'm just grateful to be there, because I never knew there was so much learning to do until I got over to Ben Davison's gym. I've been learning a lot, and it's improving my boxing. as well. That's the main thing. The fact that I'm improving is what I'm looking for, and I'm happy with.
Everybody loves sparring stories, especially when it comes to the heavyweights, because the heavyweights seem to kind of get around and spar with each other like a lot more than maybe some other kind of. Yeah, it seems to be one of those things. But have you had the chance to kind of test yourself against some of the best domestic heavyweights?
Yeah. I've sparred a lot of top domestic heavyweights, like the likes of Fabio Wardley, Dave Adeleye, Dubois. I used to spar Dubois when we were when he was like 16 till he was like 21 or so. He was Cash Ali, very good boxer. Like he impresses me every time. He was a lot of names slip my mind, but I've sparred with a lot of top domestic heavyweights, man. All very good boxers as well.
I was reading about you beforehand, like I mentioned, and you kind of, the quote that struck out to me was you saying something along the lines of, you've not turned over to just kind of make the numbers. You're looking to take home titles, so there's domestic titles quite quickly. So tell me about your first year in the professional ranks. What do you want to do in these 12 months? And when you're talking about domestic titles, what are you eyeing specifically?
So in the first 12 months, all I'm trying to do is just build experience, mainly build experience, and try and move up at the right time, which will get me to where I need to go, like domestic titles. But when I'm talking about domestic titles, I'm talking about English titles. Then we'll build up to British titles. Yeah, but we're all about building this year and getting the right fights that will get me to the point where I fight for English and then so on.
It's very interesting because right now there seems to be kind of like well, at least domestically, and in terms of prospects as well, the kind of heavyweight division in this side of the pond is thriving. You got your likes of, like you mentioned, your Fabio Wardleys, like you mentioned, didn't mention, but Solomon Dakers is up there as well. Johnny Fisher, you mentioned, David Adeleye. Who do you reckon so far, from what you've seen, is the best of the lot of the prospects coming up?
I have to give a shout out to Dave Adeleye. He's doing very well. Like he's obviously performing. He performed in his last fight, so that was good. I feel Johnny Fisher's performing. You know, he's doing his job. Like, can't complain, can't fault him. Solomon Dakers as well. He's going up the ranking quite quickly. I think everyone's doing very well, and it's good for everyone, because when it's time to fight each other, we can do a lot. We can make a lot of money from each other, just fighting each other. And also Tommy Walsh. I was actually sparring Tommy Walsh a lot, but he's doing very well. He's entertaining, you know. So there's a lot of good up and coming fighters, which is good for the British heavyweight scene, because when we all get to the same point, we're all going to be fighting each other, and it's going to be an entertaining period for the heavyweight scene in Britain.
I've got a few questions for you, and then I'll bring it back to you. Talking about the heavyweight scene there, quite a few big heavyweight fights we're expecting this year. Starting off with Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, big rematch we're expecting to happen this year. Before we get to talking about that fight, talking about your amateur wrestling background, I thought it was quite interesting because I think it was around a month or so back, Anthony Joshua kind of put up a video, I think it was on his Snapchat or his social media, of him wrestling. And I think it's been talked about how kind of the clinches and kind of being on top in the clinches is underutilized in boxing right now. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how kind of being a master at the clinches or the grappling side can benefit you in boxing?
Yeah, for me, it's benefited me throughout my whole boxing career. Like literally, when I hold someone, I hold them in tight. They're not getting out. No one can get out my clinches, you know. And I can hustle my way around and put my shoulder in, because I know a little bit of hustle with wrestling. So yeah, it is a good thing to learn, and plus it builds core strength as well. Wrestling is a very good base for any sport. To be honest, you can play football or tennis or anything. It works with the core, so it's a good base to have. So it's a good thing that Anthony is utilizing that and, you know, working on that.
What does that do though? Like I'd assume that if you're in a clinch and you're grappling and you're on top of someone and you've got the kind of good hand at the clinch, you're kind of maybe wearing them out because you're putting the pressure on them. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're wearing them out and you're preventing them from hitting you, preventing them from hitting you hard or from any different weird angles, you know. So you're basically controlling your opponent. So for me, that's the best way to control your opponent, by holding them and doing what you need to do.
So with
the wrestling skills.
So with that said, are there other sides of the wrestling game that you can implement, or is it just kind of stuff in the clinches that you can do?
Well, like I said, the strength training and the training that you do with wrestling builds up your core. And core is very important in any sport. So the fact that this is like that type of training in wrestling can be transferred into boxing is a big help in itself. So yeah.
Let's get to that rematch. How do you see that rematch going?
Well, I expect Joshua to beat Usyk just because I feel like he's very angry about the upset. And that angry AJ isn't a nice AJ, and that AJ will beat a lot of people. But people shouldn't shouldn't underestimate him. I believe that he'll be capable of beating Usyk if he gets the right team behind him. That's the main thing. He needs the right people around him to tell him what he needs to do and the right things to do during a fight and before a fight. So, yeah.
The second fight I want to talk to you about, I'm not going to talk too much about the kind of contractor kind of going back and forth in the arbitration, but let's say the fight gets over the line and Tyson Fury does fight Dillian-Whyte. How do you see that fight going as well?
Ooh, to be honest, that's a 50-50 fight. I always say this. It's a 50-50 fight. Dillian-Whyte's got power to hurt Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury has a skill set and the ring IQ to hustle his way out of getting hurt. And he can still hurt Dillian-Whyte. So for me, it's a 50-50 fight. So, and to me, the build-up will be so entertaining. They're both entertaining people outside the ring and inside the ring. So in general, the fight and the build-up will be so entertaining. So I hope that fight happens.
And let's bring this back to you. You mentioned about your family and you've got a number of siblings there. Were you holding the surprise or the information from them before the announcement got made, or were they clued in that you were signing with Boxer?
Well, I told a few of my siblings, but then when my eldest brother, I forgot to tell him. I don't know how I missed that, but I forgot to tell him. And he called me and he was in shock. He's like, "What? I just saw you on TV." So it was nice. A lot of people that I haven't spoken to in a while and haven't seen in a while all saw it. They all contacted me. My phone was going off for hours. I couldn't reply. I had more than 600 messages last night. And I had to just leave it and just reply slowly. But yeah, man, it was exciting to see people happy for me as well. That's good.
You kind of got the acronym. You've shortened the last name to TKV. I wondered, was there a meaning behind that, or is it just kind of shortening your name?
Well, I'm shortening it because I feel like I'm a new person. You know, I'm new. Tkv from amateurs is not TKV from now. I'm a different person, different animal, and I'm going to be doing different things. And I'm here to make noise. So TKV is, in a way, someone else. Let's put it that way. And I'm a better person than Tkv.
And I kind of watched a really good kind of little promo video. I forgot the name of the channel, otherwise I'd name it here.
Boxing Tunes?
I think it was Boxing Tunes. Yeah, they did a nice video on you. And in that video, it said, you said that you'd like to share the ring with the likes of Evander Holyfield, if you could in the past, like kind of bring like a fantasy type of fight. But my question about that is, what do you want to achieve in the sport? And you look at kind of people like your Evander Holyfields who've gone on to do great things and kind of look to mirror that.
Yeah. To be honest, like I always say, my thing is to make history. And I know I will make history. And Evander was so entertaining that I'm here today talking about it. And many other people talk about it. That's what I want to be, that guy who people talk about. And I will be that guy that people talk about because of the entertainment I'm going to bring into boxing. So that is the main thing that's my inspiration. I remember I used to watch him so much that I started boxing like him. All that cross stuff, I started boxing like him. So yeah, man, that's one of my biggest inspiration in boxing.
Final thing from me, Jeamie. So I'll leave the final word to you.
Okay.
What can we, when you do make your debut, what can we expect to see from you? And also give us a message to the people who will be watching you, who will be following your journey. Where can they follow you on social media, and where can they, what do you want to tell them about you?
All right. Well, when I begin fighting, just know you're just going to get entertainment, and you're going to get sharpness. You're going to get sharpness. And you're going to get a lot of good boxing, something different, fresh entertainment. I'm just looking to entertain the people, and to find me on socials. I recently made a Twitter called Jeamie Tkv Boxing, and my Instagram is the same name, Jeamie Tkv Boxing. So that's me.
Jeamie, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Wish you all the best in your career. I'm sure we'll be catching up with you a lot more frequently now that you've started your professional, starting in the professional ranks. Looking forward to seeing your debut and following your journey on social media as well. So thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I wish you all the best.